up, Sauce Gang, and welcome back to the channel. Hot Sauce Beats here with another banger Skibidi toilet reaction, and today we're checking out Isotoilets Skibidi horror bass Michael Jackson ? Episode 69 part 1 analysis and theory. And fam, we already checked out Elite Cameraman's analysis on 69 part 1. It was absolutely insane, so much happened. But as usual, you know, we love to check out Isotoilets too, because he gets some different theories, and sometimes, as crazy as some of his stuff sounds, he's been kind of hitting the nail on the head a couple times lately. So I want to peep out, maybe see if he saw something different, and maybe we'll see what happens. But before we check that out, show Isotoilets some love by subscribing to his channel. And fam, thank you so much. We have officially hit 100,000 subs just in time for Christmas. Merry Christmas. But we're still moving on, and we're going on to 250,000 next. So if you haven't yet, please smash that subscribe button and join the Sauce Gang family. But enough talking, let's get to reacting and roll that bomb ass intro.
Hot Sauce Beats is finally here. Hot Sauce Beats is finally here. Eat, sleep, make beats. Eat, sleep, make beats.
Hot Sauce Beats. Woo, woo. Oh, what you got, ISO?
Hello,
what up,
everyone. Finally, the first part of long-awaited episode
Isotoilet.
69 is out, and I'm here to break all the secrets and Easter eggs I managed to find for you.
Easter eggs.
Get your tea and snacks ready, as it will blow your mind. Let's go. The
Jerry
episode
Coke
starts
Zero.
with POV fighting one of Skibidi toilets with robotic
it's like
hands.
tea.
The fight seems to be on for quite some time because this toilet really looks to be worn out, as his whole face sloughs off in patches. And there's something really interesting about his eye. Did you think it was just reddened or something?
I'm so
well,
blown
actually,
away, dude,
it's a little
with the
red
Wolverine
frame that
claws.
is sort of implemented into his eye socket. And it's nothing else but a reference to the official Valve's logo, which is a company that created Gary's Mode and Half-Life series.
Gary's
Moreover,
Mode?
it's this exact company owning Source Filmmaker Workshop, which was also used by Defuk while making Skibidi series. In episode 33, we saw the reference to how Defuk's Skibidi toilets quite literally destroyed YouTube. Can it be another
Literally.
reference, but this time
Blow it
about how
up,
Defuk
bruh.
destroyed Valve? That would be really funny. Valve Skibidi fiercely impales the left POV's hand, but no blood can be seen, as
Oh, it
POV
did.
is just a robot. By the way, keep that bloodless
That hurt.
scene in mind, as there will be something weird about it later.
That would hurt.
But our guy already has something to answer with. He uses the knuckle duster on his right hand and smacks Skibidi in the face, then hitting him with both of his legs like an MMA pro
Dukin.
wrestler.
Ah.
As Skibidi gets leaned back, we see a human
Lean
skeleton
back.
on the left side
Lean
of the
back.
screen.
Lean
And
back.
finally, here comes the punch, finishing the whole combo of hits. Now check out this weapon that may seem like a spiky mace at first. There's actually a plunger equipped with all sort of spikes on it. So our POV is still PLUNGERman, the same as it was in the previous episode. And I have a theory about all those spikes on his iconic weapon. I think they may be parts of metallic claws and legs of Bunker Skibidi that he destroyed. Also, based on the fact he managed to heavily
Okay.
upgrade his plunger, I can state there was some time passed between episodes 68 and 69.
At least
And
more
I
than
think our
5
team
minutes.
deepened in the bowels of
It
the
would
bunker
take more than
greatly.
5 minutes to make that plunger,
POV's
chat.
spiky weapon simply destroys the Skibidi toilet's face, denting it into the toilet's drain, while the black Speakerman does his own work in the background. By the way, guys, I think
Double
there's something
dagger
definitely
dark
sassy
Speakerman.
going on here. What Black Speakerman does actually reminds me of the infamous Cameraman versus Skibidi toilet scene from
That's
episode
sus.
56.
That's sus,
He fights
chat.
another Skibidi toilet with modernized robotic hands, while also taking two of the lately upgraded parasites at the same time.
Woo.
This guy is really good at handling the knives. Look
He
at
is
how
a G.
gracefully he pinched one of those pricks to the wall, and how he ended another one's fuss with one simple movement of his weapon without even looking at him. Also, check out the scene where one of Parasite's actually managed to attach to Black Speakerman literally for a few seconds, but then got thrown off his back anyway. I think there is a certain time period that needs to pass in order for a parasite
Yeah, I
to
think
take
it's gotta
control
like
over someone's
attach
body.
and, you know,
Or
put
maybe
its
Black
little
Speakerman is
whatever.
also immune to Skibidi
And attach
parasites,
its, like,
just as
core
Titan
or
TV Man.
processor?
Next to him,
They
I
got
can see another
processors? I
breathless
don't know,
body.
bro.
And it's a human skeleton too, which is dressed in the scientist's robe. And as we'll move deeper into the Skibidi bunker, we'll
More
see that those
skeletons
skeletons and
and
parts
more
of them
blood.
are all around the base, which immediately raises a question. What if there were human scientists at first on this base? Maybe this base was originally built by humans, but then it was conquered by Skibidi army? My theory can be proven by the size of the base's doors and its openers. They seem to be not meant for Skibidi at all. Or maybe humans were also a part of the whole Skibidi experiment at some points. Maybe they were test subjects meant to be transformed into Skibidi toilets. That could have explained
I like
lots
the
of
theory-
headless skeletons we saw.
I like the theory that Elite Cameraman had that this base was a human base at one time, and they were running experiments, and maybe that's where the Skibidi toilets came from, is from experiments gone
on
wrong.
the base. But it's no time for POV to get distracted, as he almost got hit by another parasite jumping at him out of nowhere. But luckily, POV is quite a master in the fighting too, so he smashes the nasty thing down with one gentle sweep of his mace. As the parasites are done with, the camera goes to the right, and we see all the survivors left in the Elite Alliance squad. What bothers me a lot is the fact that the whole squad seems to be absolutely ignorant towards what's happening around them. So POV Plungerman and Black Speakerman are the only ones who actually fought. I mean, just look at this. There's the snobby Speakerman on the left, which apparently does as much good as he did in the previous episode.
Nothing.
Meaning,
Nota.
not really much.
Does nothing,
He just
dude.
leans
Just
on the
standing there
wall
like a little
waiting while
Chad.
all the dirty work will be done without him. And there's a bunch of ordinary cameramen with the Speakerman
right.
holding the baseball bat
Karma's
among
gonna
them.
get him in the butt,
All
chat.
six
We
of
know
them
what's
are
gonna
busy
happen.
messing with one helpless Skibidi toilet, which seems to get it all. He's being fried by one of Cameraman's rifle. And also look at what Speakerman with the baseball bat is doing. He's bonking the poor Skibidi's head as if it wasn't his weapon, but an actual ding-dong. And not going far from this,
Pause.
check out these two sweet doves
Pause.
laying in the
Pause.
very
Stop
sassy
it.
position on the ground.
Pause.
Surely that's the reference to the number of today's episode, and I'm sure you catch what I mean, guys. Also,
Dude,
it reminded
we
me a
haven't
lot
even
of the
moved past
secret
this
sassy
opening
leak of
scene
episode
yet.
67 that was shown in DeFook's official Discord channel, where Titan Cameraman and Titan Speakerman laid in the same
watch is
exact
listening to
position
me.
with
It's weird.
G-Man watching them from above. Dafuk seemed to be in a really silly mood while making this episode, and I love it. And of course, there's our white terracotta brother in the center of the screen, as if he's the main guy deserving all the spotlight.
I mean,
He's
helping
pressing
us.
the body of the Skibidi parasite to the ground with his right leg
He's doing
while checking
work.
the tablet effortlessly.
And he's
Also,
working
it's
with
worth
Secret
mentioning
Agent.
that the whole crowd is standing next to the giant door that looks really similar to the one that we saw at the entrance to the bunker. As the camera goes to the left, we can see the weird Skibidi face on one of the doors that are closest to the squad. What's interesting about it, no one seems to be paying any attention to this guy, although he looks hella creepy to me. And spooky stuff isn't stopping there. Look at those two pricks slowly peeking out of the door's opening next to Black Speakerman,
prick.
picking his knives up. As he turns his head to them, they still don't really bother him as it looks to me. He just walks from them as if they aren't even there.
I don't even think he sees them.
Such
You know
a
what I
Chad
mean?
in this episode. Oh my god. I would have been mad scared at this point if I were in his shoes, though. As our team passes through the row of doors lit by the creepy red emergency light,
I like how
cannot
Double
help
Dagger
but
Dark
remember the
Speakerman walks
standard
too,
horror
dude. He's just
asylum
like
corridors with the doors that look just like those we see in this episode. I really have this eerie feeling like we're about to see some sort of mental patients here that were intended to play roles of test subjects for Skibidi
Mental
scientists.
patient's on
here.
fire.
As POV Plungerman goes deeper into the corridor, we see one of Skibidi on the left burning alive, and on the right side, we notice the big Skibidi head trembling in some sort of fit. It reminds me a lot of the effect TV men's screens have on Skibidi toilets, and also of the similar effect of the hypno gun invented by mecha scientist Cameraman. My guess is this guy may be some kind of subject meant to get resistant of TV men's glow or hypno gun damage. The white terracotta goes straight to the panel opening the large door, and we see how he has both the remote controller and the tablet in his hands. As POV comes a bit closer,
Dude, we're
we see
definitely
three
doing something for
skeleton
Secret
Skibidi
Agent.
toilets, which
'Cause if
are
it wasn't
apparently
for what
alive.
Secret Agent
If you
gave
guys
us,
remember,
we would
in
not be
episode
going this deep
55,
in the
there was
bunker.
a giant reactive Skibidi skeleton, of which I've made a whole theory. I tried to explain at the time how it was not the literal skeleton, but probably a mechanism with prosthetics that was remotely controlled by someone else. But now I see that Dafuk just went to the spooky horror waters in this episode, so there's not really a point of explaining these skeletons' physics or biology. I think these three guys are a reference to some movie, but I didn't really know which one. So if you guys have any associations, please write it in the comments below. It's really interesting to me. While White Terracotta is busy opening the door, POV looks back to the squad, and I see a really weird
Squad.
picture here. Two Speakermen are flexing all the way to the door, doing their
Being
dorky
too
funny
cocky.
dance.
Too
Guys,
cocky.
I think this isn't really the time for this. I really have a feeling no one here is actually bothered about giving their best to the following battle. Expect for Plungerman,
think they are either,
Black
chat.
Speakerman, and the White Terracotta Brother. But he's pursuing the secret agent's goals, as we already know, not the Alliance's. As the guys enter the large room,
They
the
could be
frame
one
of
and the
which
same,
Dafuk
though.
showed us in his official Discord channel before the release of this episode, I'm getting more and more anxious of what may be waiting for them after. Look at this pool of blood next to the upturned toilet tank and parts of skeletons lying around. I think something devoured this poor Skibidi, as human skeletons no longer have any flesh or blood within themselves. Then, a torn-off camera piece drops by POV Plungerman, and this camera looks a bit weird. I remember how in episode 56, cameras were attached to cameramen in a different way. They used to have some sort of iron fastener, while in this episode I see 3 thick wires instead of this fastener, and I wonder why would Dafuk change this piece of design. Then POV looks upwards and sees a really frightening freak ready to jump at him from above.
This dude's a little trippy, bro.
He looks like a mutant Skibidi, which is much taller than the ordinary cameraman. That may mean he was not created on the model of Cameraman or Speakerman.
Definitely looking a
He
little
was probably
creepy.
built makeshift. He also has some weird metal mountings around his neck. And instead of a toilet tank, he has something remotely resemblant of a system unit. It was probably him who devoured the Skibidi lying near the big door. And he's about to do the same thing with
He's
POV.
eating their own kind, dude.
One cameraman tries to shoot at him from the gun. At least someone is trying to do something while the
They don't
rest
do
of the group are
nothing.
just standing there mindlessly. These pricks are really pissing me off. As the scary thing opens his mouth, I can detect the zombie sound effect from Half-Life 2. He simply rips off the head of a cameraman in front of him, and look at this. There's the blood gashing from the wound. Does it mean that cameramen are actually cyborgs, not robots? Then why some of them don't have any blood at all?
I don't think we're ever gonna have that answer,
That's really
dude.
boggling my mind.
I think it's just random.
POV hits him a few times, and we can see blood and vapor coming from Zombie's mouth as he does that. Dafuk's visual effects gotta be really on point in this episode, but these blows don't do much damage to the prick. So he grubs Plungerman's head and apparently tries to rip it off, as there are glitches all over the screen. But thankfully, Black Speakerman comes to the rescue, because we can certainly rely on this Chad today.
Dang right,
He
bro.
impales Skibidi Zombie's face with his
always
knives,
there for us.
but it's not enough to kill him for good. As POV simply smashes his whole face with the spiky plunger, the eyes of the jerk seem to be crashed, and he's not able to do
It almost
anything
seems
now.
like it burnt his face,
Say it
dude.
louder now. No other squad member does anything useful. Are they all traitors or just extremely dumb? POV
ISO, not everybody's a traitor, bro. ISO's he always thinks everyone's a traitor.
He turns to Black Speakerman,
I think ISO has
which
trust
nods to
issues,
him in
dude.
silent
I'm just
response
throwing
as if
that
he was
out there,
saying,
chat.
"Yeah, buddy, that's rough,
I think he has
but I'll
trust
cover your
issues.
back." Then, as the fight with the crazy zombie mutant is over, a sudden explosion shudders the bunker's walls. And look at this, guys. In the very right corner of the screen, there's the bright green beam, obviously coming from the white terracotta's remote controller, and it hits the panel on the wall. Just a second later, all the doors get opened, and the chaos conquers everything around the squad. In the end of the corridor, you can see the weird Skibidi mutants that have the
twitch,
sped-up
like,
animation of zombies from Half-Life 2. Notice how some of the Skibidi peeking out of the open doors are staying at one spot, while other ones are rushing into the attack immediately. Also, check out this funny-looking guy on the right, whose head seems to be on fire. He really did remind me of Ghost Rider.
It is.
But then the
It's
large
on
door
fire.
bordering the outer room the guys are in, and the spooky corridor with crazy-looking Skibidi in there closes, which
Time to
actually
run.
raises a question from my side. Was the Terracotta Twin responsible for the doors that get open?
Stop,
Or
no.
only for that one door that got closed? Was his goal to hurt his team members, or to protect them in order to lead them to...
ISO. If that was the plan, why would he have closed that one door in front of him? Come on. He's not a... Not
some
all,
final
everyone's
destination?
bad.
Because there's a possibility that those mini doors got open due to the alarm that set off on the higher floors, so the doors unblocked automatically. If you have any ideas about it, guys, please write them in the comments below. As POV turns around, we see that all the panels are activated by the Terracotta Twin already. This guy and the secret agent, whose orders the white bro executes, really seems to know the whole Skibidi lab well, or maybe the tablet gives a pretty good showcase of it.
I think
Around
it's the
them,
tablet.
I saw a few boxes with the writings fragile on it, although I wouldn't say it's something really important.
Fragile.
As the whole crowd is
Fragile.
rushing to the door, the white terracotta stands at. On the left side, another frightening creature appears. He really reminded me the classic version of Frankenstein's monster from the old movies by Hammer Film Studio. His eyes are closed with the strip of metal that made me think back to the vacuum urinal from episode 46. Fortunately, the
Old
terracotta
vacuum
twin acts
urinal.
quick and
The old
closes all the
vacuum
doors
urinal will
before
get ya.
anyone could have entered them.
There's Michael.
As the large door in front of POV closes, we can see a glimpse of the next creature we're about to face just within seconds. Notice how two Speakermen are the ones who remained the closest to the door, and one of them managed to escape in the very last second. And of course, those dorks do not feel any sense of danger. Instead, they start acting like the clowns they actually are. And well, let's say the punishment came pretty quickly for both of them, which is a pity. I really like those dummies. They brighten my mood each time they appeared on the screen. Just a moment later, the door simply gets knocked out despite being extremely robust and thick. Two of our clowning buddies get to be torn into pieces, and I'm saying it literally. You can see parts of them all over the place. Then we get to see the main mascot of today's episode. That's Skibidi Michael Jackson with his unique hee effect, which is a reference not only to the famous singer, but to the indie horror game called The Ayuwoki, where Michael Jackson was a monster that moved at crazy speed and reacted to the sounds the gamers made. We can see how the model of his face here is really similar to the face from the Ayuwoki game. Besides, he has a hat, saws, and the rusty metal weapons, the texture of which is really similar to the one Vacuum Urinal's melee weapons from episode 46 used to have. I also couldn't help but remember the Skibidi Strider from episode 47 while looking at Skibidi Jackson's robotic hands, as they are also extremely similar in looks. As POV Plungerman quickly turn around, ready to run for his life, we can notice two cameramen with green ties on the left, standing there and just mindlessly looking forward at Skibidi Jackson. Remember those poor things later?
Sorry, Skibidi Jackson!
As the guys are dashing through the corridor, I noticed the box with the numbers 150686 on it, although I didn't see any special meaning behind it. Some members of the squad succeeded in moving past the closing door, but someone is missing. That's our green-tied brothers. The weight they took at the beginning of the chase cost them dearly. If you'll look closer, you'll see how the one brother's hand is being ripped off, and both of them are greatly injured. That's obvious for Black Speakerman, who grabs the remote control out of the white terracotta's hands in order to close the door, that they're not gonna make it. But POV Plungerman, that already saw too many tragedies in this bunker, tries to prove him otherwise, telling him with the gesture, "Hold your horses, they'll make it in time." If you guys remember, it was one of those green-tied brothers who returned the beloved plunger weapon to Plungerman, so I think he has some really warm feelings towards them. But Black Speakerman turns out to be more pragmatic at the moment, and he closes the door just a second before crazy Skibidi Jackson is about to get in. I found it really strange how this madman was able to crush the thick metal door with such ease, and yet he stopped in front of this one, which seems to be much thinner and partly made of glass.
It's because it would ruin the show if he could get through it. I mean, that's how movies work. That's how movies, like, why does everyone run towards the sound and then die? Because that's how movies work.
But anyway, what's more important here is the drama between the two friends, and not some stupid door. Black Speakerman returns the remote controller to the terracotta twin.
Double Dagger Dark Speakerman did the right thing, though. They would have all died.
Devastated as well.
They would have all died.
POV Plungerman, who is full of emotions, steps closer to his bud and gives him a few heavy punches, but Black Speakerman doesn't even try to respond. Although the hits Plungermen are giving to him are so hard, there's even a crack appearing on the guy's red part of the speaker, so he just walks away without responding. Apparently, the Black Speakerman understands his friend's feelings, but he also couldn't do it any other way in order to save the majority of the squad's members.
Makes sense.
As POV turns his head back to the door, we see that besides Skibidi Jackson, there's the whole crowd of spooky jerks, including Skibidi Frankenstein, zombie mutants, and the guys that came out of the mini doors after they got open. POV gives the middle finger to them all, and I can see how his hand is actually shaking. Too many of his friends died within these few episodes. Then he turns around, and we see the rest of the squad walking straight forward to the yellow light that can be seen in the near distance. It seems like they don't worry anymore. They probably think the major danger has been left behind this door. Those guys are probably in the wrong, though, because I hear some strange Skibidi noises around them. And I highly doubt it's anywhere being safe now. And on that unsettling and sad note, this crazy part of episode 69 ends. What can I say to you guys? Well, first of all, I'm happy to declare that almost all my theories I've made on what can be seen inside the Skibidi bunker turned out to be true. Indeed, this episode was revolving around more spooky stuff, similar to the style of Dom Studio Multiverse
Yeah,
series.
Dom, baby, this
Do
is
you
my
remember
boy.
Momo from episode 17 of Multiverse Skibidi series? I've made a prediction that Dafuk will show us the new kinds of Skibidi toilets in the bowels of Skibidi Main Lab that would lean more into the horror side as well. And looking at Skibidi Jackson, I understand that I was the closest to the right. Also, I was right about how the story will take more emotional and lore-seeking turn, aside from the action-driven tone of the episodes we saw before. And second of all, I'm really curious of what could happen in the next part of episode 69. I see something similar to the elevator entrance on the right side of the corridor the guys are walking in. What if the point of their final destination is even lower than this? And who will wait for them there? Skibidi Kleiner or Real G-Man and Skibidi Scientist
I don't think
together?
we have a
I'll be
clue
looking
what's going
forward to
on,
the
bro.
future episodes. I really hope that you enjoyed today's analysis.
Of course we
And
did,
if you
ISO.
did, please hit the like button under this video and write your own theories on episode 69 in the comments. Be sure to subscribe to my channel not to miss my new videos. And that was me, Isotoilet. See ya!
Peace out, Isotoilet. All right, let me bring you guys in, chat. Oh, nope.
Today,
What up? All right, let me bring you in. Yeah, man. So, again, I love getting multiple theories from different of the analyzers, but not everyone is like a traitor, you know what I mean? So that's the only thing I kind of disagreed with. However, I think he brought up a bunch of good points. And I don't think we've even scratched the surface on this bunker, dude. I think the rest of the cameramen that are with them are gonna die. I think we'll be down to 3 relatively shortly. Double Dagger Dark Speakerman, Lucky Cameraman, and Plunger Cameraman. And I think we got like some bigger bosses going on here. I think we're gonna see more stuff with experiments. Maybe we'll get the origins of the Skibidi toilets. So I don't know, we'll see, fam. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm pretty stoked for episode 69 part 2. So let me know in the comments what you guys think, and if we missed anything, make sure you show Isotoilets some love by subscribing to this channel. And again, chat, we are officially at 100,000 subscribers, so thank you for all your support. But don't stop. If you haven't subscribed yet, please smash that subscribe button and join Sauce Gang family. Have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And remember, it's eat, sleep, and make beats, and as usual, be kind of one another. That's all I got. Boom, I'm out. Got nothing but love for the Sauce Gang. Peace.